What's going on, everyone? It's Updog here, and today I got my updated war counter guide graphic for you. As promised, got that updated, and I've taken out a lot of older teams that I had on the graphic, so taking those out, but you can still see those if you are interested in those. You can see those in my former versions on my Discord server. I just keep a whole archive, I guess, of all the old ones. So all you have to do is just scroll up and see the older versions. But I almost considered taking Apocalypse off of here because we don't see a lot of Apocalypse counter teams comps anymore. But I figured we'll just leave them on there for now. I do have a bunch of extra space down here at the bottom now to add some more teams for the future, but in the future, you might see Apocalypse go away. We'll see. Mostly he's on offense these days. But just general stuff I want to cover before we go over the new additions to the graphic is stuff I always like to talk about when I go over this graphic is the main counters here in the middle. That's the team that you're going to be using to go into the team over here on the left. So the reason why it's set up this way is because when you go into a war, you'll see the team. So let's say you see Absolute A-Force, and then that's why you go to the middle, and that's the counter that you're going to use on offense to go into that team. So it is left to right, kind of how the process works, and then the alternative counters that you could use as well. So as far as the main counters go, they can punch up 10 to 20% at the most, but that does not count if the team is currently being buffed in the quote-unquote season that they like to do. I'm glad they do the updates to different characters, different teams, but for example, right now we have Astral getting buffs on defense, and this team works, but let's say for example Orcus is struggling. Absolute A-Force is actually struggling too against them, so if they're being buffed, then the counters may not work. So that's another big note. And then if you see the red X, it looks like the disrupted symbol. That means that team does not work very well in Reactor. Like if you are fighting a Cabal team in Reactor and you use Underworld, just be careful because Underworld does not do good in Reactor. So that's what that's all about. So let's go over the new teams that I added. So as I was talking about just a minute ago, Absolute A-Force, got them added. There's not a lot of counters, not a lot of cheap counters, I should say, to them. The main, most consistent one is a mirror match, but the mirror match can be kind of dreadful. So, yeah, Liberty Ultimus is a good choice too. You do have to play it right. You want to take out Miss Marvel Classic if you can with Ultimus. If you can't, it's a long, drawn-out match, so you gotta be paying attention. You gotta stun Kahori. You gotta rewind Miss Marvel with the Falcon Joaquin, with his special, I believe it is. And yeah, you're just gonna kind of whittle them down from there because they are a rough team to go into. And if the global buffs are down on the helicarrier, on the enemy helicarrier, so I'm talking cargo bay, armory, even med bay probably. If those are all cleared and you're seeing a team like Absolute A-Force, then Cabal, APOC, and Ultimus will also work. You want to probably most likely use the APOC punch on Miss Marvel Classic. That will take her down. Hopefully, if you get her into the red and she survives and heals back up, oh my gosh, get ready for a long match, or they might even rebound and come back and win. So that one takes a little bit of timing and just the right kind of attacks as well. So now I also, I guess I should have said this at the beginning, I also don't include like hybrid teams, like Absolute A-Force. There's a lot of different hybrid teams out there. I don't include those because there's just so many different combinations you could do. It's hard to fit on a graphic, so if you have any questions on hybrid teams, just make sure to hit me up in Discord and we can help you figure that out. So as far as other teams, we took out some older teams in this area. I can't remember exactly which ones they were, but we added the Astral team. That one I guess I haven't done an update since November, so Astral was kind of still pretty new back then, so I didn't add them yet because we weren't sure exactly what the efficient counters were against them, or the really good hard counters to them. But surprisingly, Phoenix Force with 3-piece Undying has been working really well against Astral. They can punch up a couple of million, but like I said, to be safe, stick to the 10 to 20%. Mercs for Money, even with the current buffs right now, they can beat them. It's kind of a long match, so just be prepared for that. Orcus, surprisingly as well, can beat them. Now that you have to have specific ISO for them. Scientist Supreme needs to be a skirmisher, and Lady Deathstrike a striker, and you go into the Emma, I believe it is. You target Emma with Scientist Supreme, you do her ult, and then you Lady Deathstrike striker attack into her, and hopefully you get a rewind on Strange as well. That would be nice. Or I guess you can't get a rewind on Shadow King, but yeah, with those two moves, and then you go in with Nimrod onto Strange, ability block him, and then basically focus down the Shadow King before he can cause a lot of damage on your side. That's how the Orcus into Astral plays out. They can punch up a little bit. Now these alternative counters, they might not punch up as much as the main counters, so that's something else to keep in mind. So there you have it for Astral. And let's see here. There was a few alphabetizing issues that I had on the last graphic, so I do apologize for that. I did fix that for this one. I'm surprised nobody called me out on that. So next time, if I do mess up, don't hesitate to call me out on it. So we got Liberty here. We got them added. They're still fairly new, and they're not really used on defense much right now, but I gave you a list of teams that could beat them, one of which includes Null. So if you don't have Null yet, then that is just, I guess you just can't use that counter. But and then also Odin is included in here as well in this Mercs for Money counter. So if you don't have Odin, then yeah, your options are super limited. So there is that for Liberty. And let's see here. Oh yes, so Starjammers is a pretty new team, and I'm seeing in my level of war, which is Platinum 4, we're seeing Starjammers every once in a while. They're really not as great in war because they get a lot of Crucible specific bonuses. However, their stats are really good, so that's what can throw people off. But I figured out that Nowhere counters them pretty easy. Orcus actually does a really good job on them, just because Howard is tech and Rocket is tech and Havoc is mutant, so the Omega Sentinel, she can stun any of them. So that's pretty nice on her ult. And then Mighty Avengers has been really disappointing for me anyway. So I figure Might even, I mean, I tried the counter. It works really good. They do a great job against Starjammers. So I figured if you have a big Mighty Avengers, then might as well use them on the Starjammers. So there you have it. That's the Starjammers in a nutshell. And I did update the X-Men teams here a little bit as far as because I did have it separate from Unlimited and then Extreme and then other X-Men teams. Now that we have the Immortal X-Men out there, I see a bunch of hybrids of them. Even with Nightcrawler, I have Nightcrawler over here in the hybrid section. So pretty much Weapon X can take out almost like 99% of the different hybrids that we've seen. So that's why Weapon X is there. Nowhere does a really good job against them as well. If you have them built to even gear levels as what the X-Men are that you're seeing. And Night Stalkers can handle them pretty well. A-Force, depending on the team, they can still do a good job. And then Orcus, of course, they're going to do well against mutants. So yeah, that's what we got for the updates. You can find it on the Discord server. Make sure you download that, because if you don't download it, I've heard people complain about grainy issues. So if you want the full resolution, you do have to download it. There's no really other way that I've found to get around that. So most people are fine, but if you do see that it's super grainy, then you will have to save it on your device. So yeah, that's all I got for you. I hope that was helpful for you. If you have any other suggestions on teams you want me to add on here, make sure you let me know in the comments. And until next time, make sure you spend those resources wisely. We will see you around.